to the Fire Burns Within channel. Time for another 30-year anniversary review. Helloween's album Pink Bubbles Go Ape is 30. May the 21st, 1991 it was released. It's not a highly revered Helloween album. In fact, it's seen as one of their worst albums. I've never ever heard it in its entirety. I was researching which albums to do for 30 years and I saw this one is coming up to its 30th birthday, so I thought let me listen to this fresh. I think I might have heard the odd song from this in the past, but I've never really fully delved into this. So I loaded this up on YouTube and I studied it and I listened well. And I wrote down comments on every song. Gave every song a rating as it came by. And then we're going to have a little average at the end. So it was released May 21st. It's got 11 tracks. The opening track is just a 37-second sort of intro track with Kiska singing. I'm not going to rate that track because there's not a lot to be said about it. I mean, it's just him singing the opening little ditty. I mean, it's just a little acoustic. Well, it's not even acoustic. It's just Kiska singing. So that's just an intro. Track 2, Kids of the Century, is the proper opening track. It's upbeat, melodic metal. It's pretty fun. It's got a nice chorus. I didn't mind this track. Kiska sounds really good. His voice is good on this. I mean, he's very high pitch as always, but he's got great tone. I mean, he controls his voice so well. It's a good song. I didn't mind this. 7.5 out of 10. Track 3 is Back on the Streets. This is another upbeat and rocking heavy metal tune. Chorus is rather cool. Kiska hits some epic notes. He sounds really good. Some nice guitar riffs on this as well. I enjoyed the riffing. 7.5 out of 10 again. It's a decent tune. Track 4 is called Number One. It's a simple AOR sort of sounding tune. Not quite, but it's quite it's got the same beat. The guitar and the drum has the same beat as the Eye of the Tiger beats or the riff from Survivor. It's got a slow and sort of lilting melodic chorus. Not too bad, but this one doesn't float my boat, so just a 6 out of 10 for Number One. Track 5 is Heavy Mental Hamsters. This one is seen as a bit of a goofy tune. I mean, this is probably the culprit for this album. People complain about this one a lot. I've heard lots of complaints about this song. It's not a terrible tune, but the chorus is sort of really silly and goofy and whatever. The guitar work is quite nice though. I mean, I didn't mind the guitar work, so it's an iffy track, but it's not terrible. So 6.5 out of 10. Track 6 is Going Home. It's a fast-paced tune. I quite like the pacing on this. Not bad again. Some nice little bit of slap bass in the middle from Marcus. Quite a nice chorus as well. Not bad. 7 out of 10 for this tune. Not bad at all. Track 7, Someone's Crying. This one's a very old school Helloween track. It's sort of speedy, power metal, almost speed metal. Nice chorus again. Very nice vocals from Kiska. Some really cool high notes. Probably my favourite track on the album so far. So very solid 8 out of 10 for Someone's Crying, which is a sort of More old school Helloween. I can imagine, like, if you're a fan of the old school Helloween, you should be able to, like, someone's crying at least, if not much else so far. Track 8 is called Mankind. It's the longest track on the album. It's a slightly progressive track. The riffs are sort of mid-paced, heavy, very melodic. Kiska's performance on this track is top notch. I mean, his control, his tone, everything about it is great. I mean, for high-pitched singers, sometimes they lose control and sort of sound slightly out of tune. But Kiska sounds really great. I mean, he really controls his voice very well. This is definitely my favourite track on the album so far. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It's got great build. I mean, this track is, there's a fair bit of thought put in behind this track. You know, some of the other songs may be slightly throwaway, but Mankind seems to be a very well thought out, slightly progressive, melodic metal track. Okay, track 9 is called I'm Doing Fine, Crazy Man. Yeah, it's more back to sort of slightly goofy affair. It's an upbeat rocking number, high pitched vocals as usual from Kiska. The chorus on this one doesn't do a lot for me. It's okay, but it's fairly average sounding. The guitar work is quite interesting. It's sort of almost a little bit of a funky riff going on at one point. But in the end, this one, it just doesn't really float my boat. It's an average number. I mean, it seems like a bit of a filler. So 6 out of 10 for I'm Doing Fine, Crazy Man. Track 10 is called The Chance. Nice upbeat tune, great clean sounding bass. You can hear Marcus's bass very well in this track. The chorus is really, really cool on this one. It's really catchy. The guitar work from Michael Wycath and the other guy is very good as well. This one is a very enjoyable tune. I really like The Chance. It sounds like old school Helloween to me. It's not a million miles away from old school Helloween. So I gave that track an 8 out of 10. Track 11 is the last track on the album. It's called Your Turn. It's sort of like the ballad of the album. It's sort of like a semi-power ballad. So it starts off acoustically. Kiska is singing. His voice is awesome on this song. I mean, it sounds really, really clean, very melodic. The tone of his voice is almost perfect. You know, it's just like he's not human the way he's singing that. It's sort of really clean, no wavering, no sort of losing control or anything. Like, it just sounds too perfect. The song itself is a pleasant song. It's not like something that I would really enjoy. It's a nice song. It's sort of like a slightly, dramatic end to the album. It's a power ballad, if you like I mentioned. It's a pleasant enough song. I would have preferred a rocking song to end or an epic song to end, but it's not a bad end. So a 7 out of 10. So my overall opinion on Pink Bubbles Go Ape. I think this album gets a slight bad rap. I mean, it's not as bad as all that. It's not a terrible album. It still hints at, moments of classic Helloween. Alright, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more goofy, a little bit more hard rockish, if you like. It's not so much power metal anymore. It's a little bit more tongue-in-cheek. Lyrics, like I said, are sometimes about everyday things or funny things that they observe. It's just Helloween being a little bit different. Maybe they just got tired of the, over-the-top happy power metal. I mean, it still sounds happy, but it's sort of in a more hard rockish way. It's not so like, happy power metal, if you like. There's hints of it, but it's not, the prevailing style of music. My average for this, based on my scores, was 7.2 out of 10. So it's a good album. It's not a terrible album. I mean, I'd probably round that down to a 7 out of 10. I wouldn't take it up to a 7.5, but it's not a classic Helloween album, and it's not a terrible Helloween album. I mean, it's got its merits, It's not an abomination. It's not like the worst thing ever. I mean, they've still got hints of their history. It's just that they tried something a little bit different. I mean, Kiska, he's still turning a great performance on this. The guitar work is still sometimes good. The production, it could be a little bit better. Sometimes it's not amazingly loud or clear, but it's okay. This is 1991. This is a fairly decent production. So there you have it. Pink Bubbles Go Ape, released 30 years ago, and I never heard it in full until a couple of days ago, and this was my 30th anniversary Roundup review. Okay, stay tuned.